I believe every smart contract developer at this point should get used to Catapulta. It just makes the way we deploy smart contracts much more easier. And I mean both the pre-deployment and the post-deployment. For example, with Catapulta, you don't have to really pay for gas in the token of whatever chain you want to deploy. You can simply fund your Catapulta account with USD and have your way. Then I think this is already an elephant in the room. Using RPC endpoints can be quite funny sometimes when you are deploying, but with Catapulta, you don't really need any RPC endpoints. So it's just like I mentioned, make things easier. Of course, your private key is very, very important. And with Catapulta, you can either use your Catapulta provided private key or any other thing. I mean, it's been amazing. I tried it out some days back, and I've been kind of using it since mid last year, playing around with it. So this is a product I'm familiar with, and it's very beneficial for us as smart contract developers. And aside that, you can deploy into virtually any chain or even multiple chains at the same time with the same deployment and the same stack via Catapulta. For example, now I can choose to maybe deploy on Metis mode and BNB or BSC and Ethereum and Polygon at the same time, and everything will go through via Catapulta. I'm a Foundry guy for those who have been following this channel. So in this quick tutorial, I'll be showing you how to deploy your smart contract with Catapulta using Foundry. So it is the case that they have this Foundry template for Catapulta, which makes it easier, such that when you are trying to deploy yourself, you won't run into some unnecessary issues. This template already has some things that will more like kickstart how you are using Foundry with Catapulta. And this is basically how to get started. You clone this repo, you run for the install, then you have, if you have not already installed Catapulta globally, this is where you do that. And simply, so we will be working with this Foundry template. Simply come here, copy this, and let's go to our VS Code. Then come to your VS Code. You can say git clone. Git clone recursive. Then you paste the template. As you can see, it's already showing here. So let's copy the relative path and just cd to it once this is done. Beautiful. So it's also installing Forge for compliance with Foundry. Right now we can cd to it. So let's play around with the contracts there. This is Better RAM, Catapult. Okay, let's simply try to read. Okay, this is a very, very simple contract. Then particularly we'll be working more with scripts because we want to deploy. So let's try to read this deploy dots. So, okay, as you can see here, This is the way we write scripts with Foundry. You say it's scripts, then this is where it's broadcasts. What this script is basically saying is that we want to deploy border RAM, we want to deploy catapults, and we want to deploy this third one. That's the whole gist. And we'll be deploying it with the deployer private key, which we'll fetch out now. For those who don't have Catapulta installed on their system or laptop, you definitely have to install it globally by saying npm I global Catapulta. I already have it installed anyway, so it's might still take time, but as you can see, only one thing changed, and that means I already have Catapulta installed globally in my machine. If you don't, ensure you run this before going ahead. Then you can see something here, env.example. You basically need two things in the env. The first one is the private key, then your Catapulta API key. Let's try to get a private key. You necessarily don't have to use your private key when you are working with Catapulta. You can simply spawn up one with Catapulta wallets. Run this command, then you have something. Paste it. Okay, this is the wallet address. This is the private key. It's already here. Then you basically have to include your Catapulta API. To get your API, you come here to your dashboard and try to see probably one of the projects you've created. There's a drop down here, how to install Catapulta CLI. Click on it. Then your Catapulta API key will be here. You can show the secret, which I won't do now. You can simply copy it, then go paste it in your VS Code. Come here and simply paste it. Now let's try to deploy this, deploy .so, and let's play out with a couple of test nets, Amoy, Sepolia, and Fuji. So let me take time to explain what we are really trying to do here. So you have to write this network flag. And after writing this network flag, you can include probably any network you want to deploy to. Then this sponsor flag is for the Catapulta wallet we got the other time, or your Catapulta account, to fix the cost of deployment for you. And when you have written this, you can simply click. Then there is an issue. Recall that I am running this from a separate folder, and I think that's probably one of the reasons it's coming up with this. When you meet this issue while trying to deploy, it's simply a JIT issue anyway. Just include skip JIT. As you can see, our contracts are deployed on several chains at the same time. Okay, currently Fuji is not supported. So let's try to stick with only one network and try to see how that goes. Here we are trying to deploy the contract to base Sepolia specifically, and we want Catapulta to sponsor the deployment. In short, if you encounter the error I showed you the other time to include skip JIT to fix that JIT issue like I mentioned, then this is the name of the deployment. As you can see, then this is where the gas cost was being analyzed. This is when funding was sent to the Catapulta gas relay. This is where the deployment was successful. And here you will see that scripts ran successfully. Here's all the basic details via the CLI we have to know about the deployment. More details will be on your Catapulta dashboard. Can you see this? So our contracts are live on base Sepolia. Well, I got this error, which I haven't really decoded yet. But then there is the most important thing is that my contracts have been successfully deployed on base Sepolia. So let's go ahead to our Catapulta dashboard to see alpha. This is the deployment we just made. You can see the timing. Let's click on it to have more context. So these are the nodes deploy.s or so. How many contracts are in the deployment we just made? 5 transactions, 3 what chain, basic Sepolia. You can also copy the API here if you want to, but there is a better way to do that. Just get the JSON report. You can get it in terms of contract report artifacts, or however, I prefer to just download the contract report and have it that way. Then you can also publish your report. I like to make this public. So you can copy this and the report public. If you like, you might verify the contract with this button. And if you notice, Catapulta is already integrated with Etherscan and BlockScout. So you can verify your contract on Etherscan or BlockScout, and that settles it. But to me, one of the main things I love about these products is that I can pay gas in any token and I don't have to bother about RPC. Then everything is done with Foundry. Others might like ADAT, but I prefer Foundry. And if you're working in a team of smart contract developers, let's say you're working in a protocol, this is quite a good way to collaborate and to track all your deployments very easily. I hope this video was very helpful to you. I hope you learned how to use Catapulta. And if you really enjoyed it, do well to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.